thank you, Business Insurance and Diversity Institute, for this wonderful award to be given to a deserving insurance professional who exhibits leadership and inclusion and diversity in all that they do. We are so grateful and honored for you to be giving the Alonzo Herndon Award to such an individual. When you look at Atlanta Life Insurance Company, Atlanta Life Insurance Company was started 115 years ago against all odds. Alonzo Herndon was born a slave, and being born a slave, you did not have opportunities as far as education. Your hand was programmed to pick cotton, and the farm was born, and slavery was born in Mr. Herndon's hands and in his mind, but it was not born in him. And so he saw something that was a lot greater than being a slave. And once he was emancipated, what he did was that he went into sharecropping, and most slaves did at that point in time after being emancipated. And the only thing that they knew was picking cotton. And that's what he did alongside his mom and his brother. And later on, he transitioned from being a sharecropper to selling peanuts, molasses, and those things in order to etch out a living. Because once they left the farm as a sharecropper, they were kicked out, no education, no skill sets, and so they had to do whatever they could to survive. And that's what Alonzo did in order to assist his mom and his brother. Another thing that Alonzo Herndon did was that he took up barbering, and he became a skilled barber. And he worked with several barbers along the way, finally making his way to Atlanta, Georgia, and opening up several barbershops, 3 barbershops in Atlanta, and one of those barbershops being called the Crystal Palace, located on Peachtree Street. This was one of the most elaborate barbershops in the country. And what it provided is that it provided haircuts, baths, dry cleaning to only white clientele. So politicians, business people, those were the ones that could only get their haircut and get service in the barbershop. No African American, nor could Mr. Herndon or his other 22 black barbers could get their haircut in the barbershop. He could not enter his own building in which he was paying rent in the front door. He had to enter from the back door, is what he had to do. And as being a barber with all of these politicians and business people talking business, Mr. Herndon learned a lot. He listened. And what he found was that real estate was a business opportunity. He also understood that insurance was an opportunity. And so what he did is that he took the profits from the barbershop and invested in real estate. Because one of the things when blacks were moving from the farms as being sharecroppers into the city, they needed decent places to live. And so Mr. Herndon invested in real estate and was one of the biggest real estate holders and investors in Atlanta, Georgia, is what he was. And he provided these facilities for these individuals coming off the farm at price points in which they could afford and have some dignity. The other business opportunity that he realized was the fact that when people had loved ones that transitioned, what they had to do was to have fish fries on Friday and Saturday nights in order to raise enough money to bury someone with dignity, is what they had to do. And so he saw this opportunity with this mutual insurance association with the church that he purchased, and he made that company a reserve company working with the Department of Insurance, and thus was born Atlanta Life Insurance Company. Atlanta Life Insurance Company provided several things. It provided safety, security, and financial well-being to a class of customers that was ignored by the establishment. And these individuals were also not only given financial safety nets, they were also given employment. They were given employment in management positions as board of directors. They built wealth, and they also helped build communities. And when you look at Atlanta Life, today we talk about stakeholder capital is what we speak to in regard to employees, community, and shareholders. Mr. Herndon understood very early on, because of his upbringing, to whom much is given, much is expected, is what that represents. In this 115-year history of this company, we are the poster child of stakeholder capital. Because Mr. Herndon understood this, is that if we can provide a product that will give people a financial blanket, a floor, and also provide employment, we are expanding the tent of the potential customers that we can acquire, we can grow, creating more financial opportunities is what we could create. And thus, the expansion of Atlanta Life began. Atlanta Life today is licensed in 17 states. In those 17 states, starting from Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, all the way down, crossing over into Illinois, down to Texas, Oklahoma. And when you look at that 17 state trajectory, that was where the tobacco farms were and the cotton plantations were. And those were a lot of the customers in which Atlanta Life provided the service. Now, when you look at from the standpoint of having to have fish fries on Fridays and Saturday nights in order to raise enough funds to bury someone, that was back in the 1900s. What has changed today? Today, the Friday and Saturday night fish fries is called GoFundMe. And when you look at the millions of GoFundMe pages on social media, it is stunning. So nothing has really changed. And when you look at today, we still have the same problem of non-inclusion. People are at risk. People are dependent on the kindness of strangers in order to bury someone with dignity, is what they're having to do. All because the tent has not been expanded. And what I mean by the tent has not been expanded, the diversity, inclusion, inequity, inequality has not changed significantly. And that is why the Friday night fish fries has now turned into GoFundMe, using a 21st century technology on the belly in order to drive it. Atlanta Life has played a pivotal role in the history of the United States. And you might say, how is that possible? For a company founded by a slave with no education could make such an impact on the world. Atlanta Life was instrumental in funding a lot of the civil rights movement. It's what it was instrumental in doing. You can look at Atlanta Life as being the intel inside, whereas assisting Dr. King, Andy Young, John Lewis, all of the student protesters and the sit-ins, in providing the bail money, travel, meals, financial support, etc., because this was the right thing to do. And this not only helped people of color, it also helped people of non-color as well, to see that there was a class of people that was totally being ignored. And when you look at the significant organizations that we have today, such as the NAACP, the Urban League, Tuskegee University, all of those institutions have their roots with Alonzo Herndon and his son, Norris Herndon, and Atlanta Life Insurance Company. Mr. Herndon was one of the founders, along with Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois and others, of the Niagara Movement. The Niagara Movement became the precursor to the NAACP. Booker T. Washington, as we know, founded Tuskegee with some assistance from the Herndons. Martin Luther King Jr. could not get insurance with the majority insurance carriers. Why? A risk. Atlanta Life, along with the Pilgrim Insurance, provided that coverage for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In 2018, the Nobel Laureate Organization recognized Atlanta Life alongside Dr. King at Stockholm, Sweden, in their corporate headquarters with a 8,000 square foot exhibit, 4,000 square foot dedicated to Atlanta Life and the Herndons, and the other 4,000 dedicated to Dr. King in winning the Nobel Peace Prize. So Atlanta Life, with all of the world press, was recognized by the Nobel Laureate Organization to his contribution to humanity and to the world. That is significant for a company that was founded by a slave with practically no education. That is why we are so proud of this organization. This is why today Atlanta Life is needed more than ever, because we have to be able to address these inequities in our communities, in our workforce, in our health system, in our criminal justice system, in our financial systems. All of these things have to be addressed. Because if we don't address these, what we're basically saying is that if we're not for diversity, equity, equality, and inclusion, what we're doing is that we're fighting against the future. We're fighting against future customers. We're fighting against future employees. We're fighting against future stakeholders. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to leave billions of dollars on the sidewalk that's easily accessible just by expanding the tent? When you look at from the perspective of where we've been and where we're going, Atlanta Life's business model is threefold. Our business model is B2B, business to business, business to consumer, B2C, and business to consumer. Atlanta Life is definitionally unique because there's only one. And when companies, carriers, brokers partner with Atlanta Life, we make them better, is what we do. We make our customers better. And the other part around this is that Atlanta Life is so unique in this sense as a regulated entity by having ownership, majority ownership, rests in the foundation. In 1950, Norris Herndon, the only sibling, the only child, offspring of Alonzo Herndon, created the Alonzo and Norris Herndon Foundation to honor his parents because he was a gay person. And Alonzo knew that his legacy would stop with Norris. And in setting up the foundation, he set up the foundation to continually investing in communities. And this is the other unique feature of Atlanta Life. The Alonzo and Norris Herndon Foundation owns 73% of the Atlanta Life Insurance Company. The Atlanta Life Insurance Company is owned by the community, not by normal shareholders. So the community is Atlanta Life. So when customers partner with Atlanta Life, they are directly partnering with the community in the community investments that the Herndon Foundation make in first responders, in helping inner city kids learn entrepreneurship, helping the historically Black colleges with scholarships, and helping with operational expenses, in supporting the King Centers, the Robin Hood Foundations, the Innocence Projects, the NAACP, the Urban League, and giving scholarships. We exist for the community. It's what we exist for. And that is unprecedented to be a financially regulated entity that is majority owned by a foundation. And this is what resonates in our business to business model, in our business to business consumer model, and it resonates with business to consumer. That is why Atlanta Life have access. We have access to the C-suite. We have access to consumers. We have access to affinity groups is what we have. And those who partner with Atlanta Life, we help you maintain the market share that you have and to increase the market share that you would like to gain. Because we are definitionally unique. There is only one. There is only one that was recognized by the Nobel Laureate Organization. There was only one that had the policy on Dr. King. There is only one that built part of the Atlanta University Center, the Herndon Stadium, that invested in Tuskegee, that invested in the movement. There's only one. And that is why we are so unique. It's what we are. And when companies partner with us, they in turn get a feedback loop on what those investments are in the community. And I think that given where we are in the world and here in the United States, COVID-19 has exposed a lot of inequities in our system. And those systems being financial, health and wellness, and the justice system. We as insurance professionals, we have a duty, we have a responsibility, and we have the wherewithal to widen that tent and make a significant difference. Insurance is a profession that see an immediate impact on the financial well-being of individuals and communities. And by making a small investment, those risk products makes a difference in people's of color's lives is what it makes. And if you look, for example, a death of a family member and the poor health of a family member are the quickest ways to bankruptcy. And now, guess what? You're now part of the legal system. You now have a not so good risk score. You pay more now for everything. It impedes your opportunities in employment, financial, your everyday life. And those are the things, as insurance professionals, we have a direct impact by hiring people of color in these communities, by having products that are designed and marketed to these communities so that they can start to build generational wealth and not have to go the bankruptcy route because the breadwinner transition. And now we lose our home, we lose our transportation, we lose our ability to move forward. So we're constantly having to hit the reset button and start over again. We have the ability in this industry to make a huge change, and a difference is what we have. Because we have the instruments that can make this change. We can hire, we can promote, we can train, we can provide these scholarships for individuals to go into this industry, which is so underrepresented. It's what we can do. And all we have to do is just make that commitment to make a change in someone's life. Because when you expand the community, you expand in your customer base. When you invest in the community, you expand in your employee base. As opposed to just fishing only in a pond, now you can expand that and now fish in the ocean. Diversity is easy. And let me tell you why. We like diversity in our food, diversity in our travel. No one goes on Delta, American, or United, or Spirit Airlines and make a 20-year reservation to fly to one same destination every year. No one does that. You like a variety is what you like. Variety in your clothes, your cars, the paint colors you have in your homes, the light fixtures you have in your homes. But why is it we like diversity in all of those things except for diversity in mankind? Why is that? When you think about, we're all the same. We're in this boat together. We can exchange parts. When a person needs a heart, they don't ask the doctor, I only want a heart from a white person. I only want a heart from a black person. I only want a heart from a Latino person or an Asian person. All they ask for is a heart. If I need a blood transfusion, I don't stipulate what ethnicity of the blood that I want. We can reproduce is what we can do. And if we can do all of these things, why do we keep fishing in a pond as opposed to the ocean and experience the true meaning of what being a good citizen is all about and a good business is all about? We have the power. We have the ability to do this, is what we have the ability to do. And I want to employ each one of you as you sit back and think about what contribution can you make to financial, to health and well-being, and justice for those who are most at risk. And you will be surprised the impact that you can have as an individual, the impact that you can have as a company, the impact that you can have as a leader to make a difference in people's lives so they're not having to hit the reset button. And Mr. Herndon understood that early on, that by having these instruments of insurance and providing employment, that people could transition with dignity, and also they can leave a legacy is what they could leave. And leaving a legacy is not about being financially well off. My aunt, with a $25,000 face value insurance policy, left a legacy to 5 organizations at $5,000 apiece. Think about that. Not 25 million, but 25,000. And that's what we need to instill in these communities by making and giving opportunities to those who are most at risk. One of the things that we would like to do as Atlanta Life and the Herndon Foundation is to award 2 scholarships to 2 people of color to assist them in going into the insurance financial field, so that these individuals can have a start in making a difference in people's lives and making good people better. The Herndon Foundation, as I mentioned a few moments ago, I chair the foundation as well. And the foundation exists for the community, as I had stated. In the foundation, when companies partner with Atlanta Life, the foundation can be a conduit to the community. And that conduit today, in which we're supporting with a program for inner city youth, teaching them entrepreneurship. And we teach entrepreneurship, the mindset, so that they go to work for a company, they have an entrepreneurial mindset. They have an entrepreneurial mindset if they start their own business. We also have a new program that's launching in February 21. And that program will be allowing individuals of color, meaning Black, male and female, Latino male, female, Asian male, female, and women, to get them board ready. It's a 6-month program where we will be teaching these individuals who are working for corporations, working for medium-sized companies, working for nonprofits, to get them board ready, to take them through this 6-month program, so that at the end of that program, they will have the ability, the knowledge, and the capacity to now serve on any board, corporate board, worldwide. It's what they'll be able to do. And this program is taught by some of the luminaries in the industry as it relates to CEOs and board members. For example, our dean is Dr. Janetta Cole, who needs no introduction, who have served on 7 corporate boards, president of colleges and universities. We have Steve Reineland, the lead director at Walmart. We have Dan Caffey at Chick-fil-A. We have Otis from Verizon. We have Doug Holliday, former ambassador to South Africa. Mary Bush, director at Marriott, Discover Card. Mantac is who we have. And those are just a few of the 30 individuals who will be instructed in this program. And one of our leading contributors and sponsors is NASDAQ, the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. Barry Lofton from NASDAQ Stock Exchange and Adina Freeman, who see the value in being able to make a difference. And these individuals will be able to make a difference in the world by now having a seat at the table. Because it's not enough to put your money on the table, but you have to have a seat at the table as well. And in summary, I want to thank the Business Insurance Institute, Diversity Institute, for this phenomenal award that will be given to a person of leadership, inclusion, and equity and equality on an annual basis in the name of Alonzo Herndon. It is humbling, and I accept it on behalf of all of our associates and all of our customers and all of our stakeholders. I accept this with respect and humility. It's what I accept. Thank you, Business Insurance. Thank you, Steve Acunto. And now, let's go and change the world. Thank you.